Going to start a little bit different this week with a little bit of laughter, hopefully, anyway, just to get people warmed up. So we thought we'd make this more of a kind of a regular feature of like the funny thing that we found to do with sales online in the past couple of weeks. And the one I just want to share today made me laugh a lot today when I saw it, and hopefully resonates with a lot of people in the audience. And is from a guy called Tom Boston, who, if you don't know Tom, he's a SDR. And he has created these funny videos that he posts on his LinkedIn, all about just funny things to do with sales. So I'll say nothing more, and I'll just play this video, which is all around gatekeeper training. So without further ado, I'll start with this. It's just a short video, and hopefully this will give you all a few laughs as we kick things off today. So let me share my screen, and this is Tom's video about gatekeeper training, just to kick off today's show.
Okay, then this is the final day of your gatekeeper training. Big day. Congratulations on getting this far. As you know, from today, if you pass this final test, you'll be a fully fledged gatekeeper.
We all set to go out into the world and stop those pesky, unsolicited sales calls from getting through. There's nothing worse, is there, than a sales call? No. Let me hear you. No. That's right. You're learning. This is great. Right, okie dokie, let's crack on with the test. Don't be nervous. Just some simple scenarios here, and I want you to answer as you would as a gatekeeper, and I'll be marking as we go. Are you ready? Yeah. Let's go. You're asked, what's the best way to get hold of the prospect? What do you say? Ask them to send an email. And what if you're told that an email has already been sent? Ask them to send another email. You're told to check if the prospect is available to take this call. What do? I put them on hold. Do you actually check if the prospect is available? No. How long did you put them on hold for? Ages. Good. What's the best way to respond to a cold call? Ask them if the person they want to speak to is expecting the call. Correct. Is anyone ever really expecting the phone to actually ring? No, it doesn't make any sense. Correct again. What's the worst thing about salespeople? They're always asking to get put through to people. And should you ever put them through? Never. Not in a million years. What are the top 3 ways to fob off a salesperson? Okay, I don't have their extension. They've just gone into a meeting, and you do need to get this right to pass. They're not at the desk. I've seen them, but they're not at the desk. Excellent. Yeah. Yes, and what if you're asked to take a message? Just pretend to write something down. Fantastic. Yeah, pretend. Oh, you're ready. You're ready. Thank you. Okay, then, this is the final day.
I'll not play it again.
Gatekeeper.
So that was, someone who is actually genuinely funny versus the kind of comedy that we chuck up. But hopefully that, got a little bit of a giggle from people on the webinar. Okay, let us get down to business. Sales Bootcamp, episode 10,764, or whatever number we're on. And you'll see here, you've noticed, yet again, we are a man down this week. And it's not because Stu has had enough of us, has quit the company. He's had a new arrival. So there you can see a photo of Stu himself with his new arrival. So I'm sure we all wish Stu big congratulations for the new arrival in his family. If you want to give Stu a little congrats, put congrats in the chat, or Daddy Daycare or something along those lines, or maybe even Vin Diesel, he wishes.
I was going to say, it's a hell of a compliment that, isn't it? Picking Vin Diesel for Stu.
What he strives to be. Okay. Great. So before we dive in, one of the things that we did on the last webinar is we ran a little bit of a competition, if you like, where we asked everybody who'd shown up our Discovery Questions webinar to post one of the things that they'd learned or a key takeaway on their LinkedIn. And we chose one of these people at random to do basically a discovery call clinic critique of. And the winner was Lauren Stern from Phenom People. So this was the post she put online. So she was chosen at random. She's actually sent us a call. Mark, I'm sure you've got it on your to-do list, and here's the excuse coming.
So Lauren is on. I can see Lauren's here. It is on my list. I will get it done. It was going to happen very soon. Lauren knows. I'm looking forward to it. In fairness, she did take a few days to get it over. So, we're not all going at the speed of light. So it will get coached.
Don't worry, Lauren. I will keep him accountable and make sure that he does do that. Right, agenda. So what we want to do was just do a little bit of a recap from the last boot camp that we did a couple of weeks ago, which, as you know, was all around key discovery questions that we asked, that we presented. And we just wanted to make sure that you actually learned something and that you found it useful and you're going to put it into practice. So here's the actual list of questions that we focused on. What me and Mark really want to know is, out of the questions that we went through and the various examples we played, which one did you find to be most useful? Just by pop the number of the question in the chat. And also, we want to hear if anybody in the panel and in the audience has actually tried to use one of these questions in the past couple of weeks where they may have not used it before, and to what success. Even better, if somebody wants to come on live on webcam as a panelist to talk us through how they used it, with who, and what happened, we'd love that even more. So if that volunteer is you, pop your hand up, either using the hand up option or the chat. I'm sure Matt will look after it, and we'd love to hear what happened when you used that question. Did it give you a different type of result? Good, bad, indifferent? Hopefully all good. Don't know if we've got any willing volunteers.
This is classic, right? This is when salespeople go really quiet. We're all really confident, super extroverts. Can someone volunteer? 3 and 11 have been mentioned.
Can I ask you a difficult question? Yaniv, if you're not going to come online, type in, we've got some guy who's put his hand up there.
Get him on.
Matt?
Rich, you're the host. I think that falls to you to do that.
Right. Bimal, right. Okay, Bimal, we're going to bring you on. We want you to talk us through which question you used and talk us through what happened. So you should be getting a little invite. You should be in there now. If you unmute yourself, Bimal, you should be able to talk us through. Are you there?
Hello, everyone. Can you hear?
Yes, we can hear you, Bimal. Welcome.
Awesome. Thank you so much. Thanks so much. Quickly, I had this is great. I had an opportunity to talk with the CIO once, and just did our normal pitch, ask about some of the questions, qualification questions, and then he told a specific thing that they wanted to implement in their environment, and we were trying to ask that question number 3. Question number 2. Why is that important to you? And then I kept on mute. I was just waiting, and the call went on like for 20 minutes, and he was actually explaining a lot of things on why that specific feature or a specific capability was important for him. So that was like, I was actually trying that for the first time. That is amazing.
And the long-winded answer that he gave you, do you think the information that the prospect gave you as a result of you asking that question, do you think that has helped you with that specific opportunity?
It did help on that specific opportunity, but it could be the right timing. It could be, we talk with this prospect in the right timing and everything, but asking that why, or why is that specific thing important to you, though that was a very profound question. That was the first time that we asked that. At a later point of time, we asked it more strategically, or more position it very well at the right point of the call.
Yeah.
So yeah, I believe that is a very powerful question.
That's amazing. Love to hear that, Mark.
No. Please, you've come on and shared that. It's a great story. Obviously, you bought your webcam from Matt. So, but good to have you join us, my friend.
Thanks.
Well, what's your company name, Bimal? Give us a shout out. Give a shout out to your business.
Yeah, Bimal, what company are you from?
Hey, can you hear? Oh, I'm from Soft Choice. We are based in Toronto. Yeah, we have a couple of folks on the call with us right now listening.
Awesome, great. Well done for putting yourself forward, sharing that. We love to hear, actually people learning stuff and actually putting into practice and having great success. So thank you for that.
Awesome.
Really appreciate
You're welcome. Bye.
Right. Okay. Great stuff. Well, that's the stuff that we love to hear. Okay. So moving into the crux of the webinar today, it's about pitfalls. And this is the reality. We a couple of weeks ago, we went through some of the real key questions you can ask in discovery calls. But what we've learned over analyzing literally tens of thousands of conversations is that people make mistakes. We still make mistakes. And some of these mistakes are really avoidable. Some of them we're not even aware that we're making them, and they're hurting your success. So what we've done is we've consolidated a list of our most common discovery mistakes that we see. And what we're going to do is we're going to work through each one of these mistakes. We've got some real examples of people making these mistakes. We've got examples of us doing things a bit differently. And hopefully you guys are going to learn a lot. And in true fashion, we will be playing real example recordings to back up what we're sharing. So, Mark, I don't know if you. I'll tell you what I'll do. I'll make you host in a second, so you can share your screen. But where should we start? Should we start from the top?
So, yeah, I mean, these are in a bit of an order. We haven't got numbers here, but if there's anything in particular people definitely want to hear, put it in the comments. But these are all the biggest mistakes that we found and got examples for most of them. So they've got a star next to them. That means we have a recording that we're going to play, and we're going to show you the mistakes that we've made. I feel like they're in a little bit of an order, so I feel like starting from the top makes sense.
Tell you what, Mark, I'm going to send you the link to this presentation, so that rather than us swapping and sharing hosts, it's going to make it easier for you just to share.
Just while you guys are doing that, everybody in the chat, I can see a lot of people sharing feedback with us, which is great. But what you want to do is just make sure that in the chat that you've got selected all panelists and attendees to see your question or your feedback, because a lot of very positive comments with Vimal there, and I wanted everybody to see those. So just if you're going to pop in and chat, make sure that you're setting it for all panelists, attendees. We can see it, then everybody else on the webinar can see it.
Yeah. Right, Mark, I've just slacked you over the link to that slide.
Awesome. Feels like the sort of thing we should have done earlier, really.
It does. That all of this preparation, and we make a key mistake, a pitfall, if you like.
Where are you?
I'm going to make you host.
Yeah, sounds good.
Okay.
Right, so it does feel like it says I've got a request access, Rich.
Oh dear me.
Request sent. It feels like people are saying that they want to see that combining discovery with demo as well, and we've got an example of that. So why don't I load up that example whilst we're getting the presentation sent over and share my screen. Saying access is denied, mate.
Let
me try again.
Right.
That's so fun that we're talking about mistakes and missed opportunities, and this is what we're doing.
That should be good.
Yeah, no, we're good. Okay, so the first pitfall we're going to talk about is combining discovery with a demo. Rich, you're quite passionate about this, as am I, but you are quite vocal on LinkedIn. You've written a number of posts about this. Why don't you tell us why this is a big mistake?
Yeah, and I have gotten a few LinkedIn spats about this, admittedly. So, and again, the point here is that not everything I say is right and gospel, and this is just a personal opinion. But going back a few years ago, we tried to combine. When we first started Refract, I started to try and combine discovery with my demo. Like I booked, 45 minutes with a prospect, and I try and kind of mash up the discovery with the demo. That was the first time I'd spoke with the prospect, really. The problem is because I was so up against the time, because I was so keen to show my product, what I end up doing is I end up basically mashing my discovery into a 5-10 minute slot. It just wasn't enough time. I couldn't actually do effective discovery. And the whole point of actually doing a demo is to present something in a presentation that is relevant to what you've learned in discovery. Moreover, we should only be really showing our product to people who you've done an effective discovery with. So my point here is not so much about combining discovery with demo, because I think discovery will always continue throughout the sales process. It's about the discovery should be a very separate call altogether. Before you even consider showing someone your product, that discovery conversation needs to take place as an isolated call. When you don't do that, you're too eager to just dilute the most important part of the sales process. And you end up, I've seen it time and time again, salespeople are just too excited to basically getting to showing off all of the features and benefits in their product. Stuff. That's why.
Okay, I think that's a great summary there, Rich. One of the things, so most of these questions you can see here, we have got genuine clips of us making mistakes. A couple of them, this being one, we've actually got an example of how to avoid the situation. I'm going to share with you this example. So this is pretty fresh. This was from the other day. This is where basically someone booked a demo. They come through the website, asked for a demo, but they told me that they hadn't done any research. I asked why they booked a demo. They said they hadn't done any research. They were just sort of interested. And I think a lot of reps in this position would feel, shit, I'm just going to have to show them everything and start that demo. And that would be a mistake because you'd end up doing a tour. I'm just going to play what I said and did in this occasion, and Rich, share your thoughts afterwards. So, as I say, someone's requested a demo and we just started talking.
I suppose what I want to do is make this a 10 out of 10 conversation for you. I know you've booked an online demo, but here's the thing. Here's what I suggest. If you're coming into this, as you say, feeling underprepared, and there's no problems there, I can certainly help with that. Let's have a bit of a discussion first of all, make sure this makes sense, and if we get to where we feel a demo would be viable and we've got the time today, we can do that. If not, we can book that in and take that as a next step. Does that all sound fair to you?
Yeah, that sounds fair. Yeah, appreciate it.
Awesome.
So that's the first clip there. As I say, that is how I deal with those situations, because I want to do discovery before I start doing a demo. But Rich, what did you think of that?
Yeah, I thought it was a great example because this guy has booked a demo. So I think, people kind of see people who book demos on their websites or demand a demo as like some kind of really shit hot sales opportunity. The way I look at it is it's one less cold call I've got to make. I've still got to go through my sales process. The way I describe it is, this person is playing on my home turf. And so, I don't want to be moved away from my sales process just because this guy wants to see a demo. Mm-hmm. So I think the first thing you did there is kind of acknowledge that he's made that request and say, if we've got time, I'm happy to kind of give you a flavor. But in order for me to actually make sure this is even relevant, I just want to ask you a few questions, learn a bit more. And you heard that he was perfectly comfortable with that. And I think I often get this question quite a lot from people who say, but what if I just get people who just want to see a demo? Don't just give prospects what they want all the time. If it's not, your job as a salesperson is to be helpful. And if you think that in order to be most helpful, you need to learn more about their intentions, their interests, their desires, then make sure you go down that step. So, and is it fair to say, Mark, that this person ever got frustrated that you didn't actually give him a demo straight off the bat?
No, we spoke for 40 minutes. It was a great discovery call. We got a demo in the calendar for next week. I think really the very quick analogy here is when someone's on a car showroom floor, they want to check out some cars. They don't give you the keys and let you test drive cars immediately. You have a bit of a chat. They work out if you can actually afford it. And then you test drive it. And I don't know about you. Whenever I've bought a car, I've only ever test driven one car. I've not test driven a number of different ones. So
yeah, and it's like it's like the person. It's like me going to the Ferrari showroom and demanding to test drive all the Ferraris. Why would you want to just do that? Without understanding. Was I genuinely looking for a car? Did I even have the budget to buy a Ferrari? It's the kind of thing if you're just giving prospects what they want. If you're just I call them you're being a demo monkey. It's not an effective use of your time. And one of the biggest things that really kills your success in sales is by spending too much time with prospects who don't even need they don't even want the stuff that you're selling. So yeah.
Cool. Right, let's move on. We spent a lot of time on that, but that's the key pitfall. Never do a demo off the bat without any discovery and try and do it together. The next one we've got here, we've got no or a weak upfront agreement. Now, the reality is we looked through hundreds of calls, didn't we, Rich? And we couldn't find a call where we didn't have an upfront agreement because that's what we train. Our sales reps always have an upfront agreement. Doesn't mean they're always good, though. So I have got a couple of examples of upfront agreements where they're not particularly strong. Let me just load these up here. And then
whilst you're loading those up, Mark, just for those of you still a bit unsure, upfront agreement, also known as a upfront contract, is a very firm, specific agreement that you have with the prospect at the start of a discovery call. And you can use these throughout the sales process because as we're talking about the discovery call, it's a very firm agreement about what the purpose of the conversation is, and what the specific outcomes are at the end of that conversation. It's to ensure that you've got full alignment with the prospect, and is really a great technique to avoid getting maybes or I'll think about it. So you're removing the possibility of leaving the conversation on a maybe. Nobody likes maybes in sales. We like yeses or nos.
Mm-hmm. Right, let me play for you the first upfront agreement that we've highlighted as a weak one. Let me play this.
And I know that you mentioned that this sort of thing is kind of something you're looking into at the moment. So I just kind of wanted to understand your situation a bit more and kind of find out how we can potentially help and see if there are some next steps. The call shouldn't take longer about 25 minutes today. Is that okay with you? Have you got any kind of hard stop times or anything like that?
So let me tell you why I think this is a weak upfront agreement, a mistake. I feel like we're some of the way there. We're talking about what we want to achieve, but I feel like at the end it gets really weak, and I feel like there's a need for approval. We're actually saying it shouldn't take any longer than 25 minutes. Is that okay? We're almost looking up at our prospect, like we're not on the same level here. Our time isn't equal. And I feel like what's going to happen if we were to play the rest of this call is they're going to take control here. They're going to start telling you what they want to know. And I feel like this is quite a weak upfront agreement. Conscious of time, Rich, but is there anything you'd add to that before we play the next one?
No, I think you nailed most of it. The only thing I'd add there is, she using the phrase as sort of kind of is just very uncertain, very, she doesn't sound confident in the objective of the call. And I think when you sound like that, prospects can often, they feel less assured. And one of the big risks of not having that very clear upfront agreement set is prospects might be thinking that what's the purpose of this call? What happens at the end of it? Is the salesperson going to ask me to get my credit card out? It's leaving mystery in the prospect, and you don't want that. You want the prospect and yourself to be fully in tune with the whole, as you go along the sales process.
And it's not kind of. I'll tell you what else you find in weak upfront agreements. The word I guess the purpose of today's call, and I guess that really frustrates me. Let me play another upfront agreement. Now, Rich, this is a call you've coached, actually. There's video feedback you've given here, but let's just play this and maybe you can remember what you said.
The same thing. I guess the purpose this morning for me, just to kind of, outline what the point was. I was really interested in learning more about Leap in your role as well, and obviously the team, and if coaching is something that takes place at the moment. Obviously, just to understand a bit more if there is a fit, and then I can obviously explain Refract to you and talk a bit more about it. And I guess if it makes sense off the back of that, and it sounds like there is a fit, arrange a demo or something like that for in the future to actually bring the product to life for you. Does that sound okay?
Yeah, of course. And I say, when it comes to the coaching side of things.
So I played that for a little bit longer, Rich, because I know that you picked up on that. We've almost, in this agenda, we've actually asked a question as well, and they've now just taken control, starting to talk about it. But again, I guess I think it was in there 3 times.
Here's
something like that.
Yeah. Here's the rule of thumb. You set a week upfront contract when the prospect starts talking first. So you heard there the prospect kind of went into telling you about his company. And that's because the prospect basically felt like they wanted to be in control. They didn't know what the next step was. You've set a week upfront contract when the prospect starts talking to you freely without you asking any questions. In order to set a good upfront contract, it sounds like the purpose of us speaking today at this call is to find out if there is a fit here or not. At the end of this call, there's going to be 2 outcomes. First one is we'll decide there's a good fit, and typically what happens next is we'll schedule a demo. Or secondly, the other option might be you decide this isn't a fit, and we just end it there. Does that sound okay? Yes or no? And I think that's the difference there. In the example that we played in the example that you shared there, one phrase that the salesperson used was something like that. We'll schedule a demo or something like that. Again, it sounds it doesn't sound defined. It sounds unsure. It sounds like we're not even sure of our own sales process. It makes it easy for the prospect to say, well, if the salesperson thinks something like that might happen, then it's an easy one for the prospect to say at the end, I'll go away and think about it. So it's amazing just how those little words and phrases can really make all the difference.
Let's swiftly move on. This one here is time management. I feel like this is a mistake that we make at the start of our call. So the first thing, everyone should always be doing a time check, checking how that prospect is for time today. But I tell you a phrase that's really creeped in over the last sort of 6-7 months is asking if people have a hard stop. So people just saying, oh, we've got this in for 15 minutes. Have you got a hard stop at all? Rich, I feel like there's a better way of doing that, but I'm curious, do you use that at all?
I know why you've picked this one, because Mark was listening to some of my calls and actually realised that I actually used a combination of the two without really thinking about it. And it wasn't until Mark kind of pulled me up on it, which fair play, I'm glad that he did, is that when I was using the phrase, have you got a hard stop, by me suggesting a hard stop, it made it easy for the prospect to say, yes, I have. And no matter what time I said, have you got a hard stop at past, at 15, at the top of the hour in 10 minutes? Yeah, but if we can wrap up before then, that would be great. There was something in me saying hard stop that made it easy for the prospect to say, yeah, in fact, I have got a hard stop.
You've got off lightly here, Rich, because I've loaded up your call and I didn't tag the moment where you asked for a hard stop. So
it's because I've been in there deleting them.
But I've got 2 others. So let me just play for you. When you ask if someone's got a hard stop, they tend to say yes, and they tell you when the call's got to end. And here's 2 examples of that.
Calendars. Just to check, do you have a hard stop in 10 minutes?
Yeah. Actually, I have a meeting at a 11:45. So.
Okay.
Now,
who has meetings at 11:15? By the way, nobody has meetings at 11:15.
Well, even if he did, this call didn't happen at 10:35. This call happened at 10:30. But they're saying, "Yeah, I've got a hard stop in 10 minutes," because that's just it's been set up in their minds. But then, BS, like no one knows me in a 11:45. Here's another example.
5 minutes. So, when do you have a hard stop that we definitely need?
When do you have one? Like you've definitely got a hard stop. When is it?
To abide to.
45 minutes would be preferred.
Yeah, that's up.
So we've lost time here. We've gone from having an hour to 45 minutes to be preferred because we've told them they've got a hard stop. Here's a better way of doing that. Just say to someone, how are you for time today? And you'll be surprised. Of course, people will have hard stops. Of course they will. But phrasing it as, how are you for time today? You get better answers. And typically something like this. Someone's had a haircut.
There he is. Mike, we've got this in for half an hour. Just wondering, first of all, how are you for time today?
The 30 minutes can be 45. I've got something straight after. I got till 3:15 my time.
Okay, that's certainly helpful to know.
Yeah, just in case we go over. All right.
Just in case we go over.
Yeah, it's amazing. How are you for time? It's subtly it is very different, but he feels like, you've removed that hard stop, that kind of barrier that people suddenly make in their heads, and suddenly actually gives you more time. Great examples, and just the intricacies of, we would have never have actually learned that if we hadn't actually been listening to calls and, figuring that out.
Guys, a couple of people have asked the question about, would you even bring up the subject of time on a call?
100%.
You would. And why is that?
Because people have got end of time is finite. It's a resource, and I feel like one thing you're showing respect there, that you know that they are taking time to speak with you. As are you. I've got other appointments in my calendar. If you don't know what their time is, you run the risk of just getting to the juicy bit, and they go, "I've got to go," and it's done. You need to know when this call can run out to. I would say if you don't ask that, it's crazy. Rich, I can't imagine you're going to disagree with that.
Yeah, I fully agree. And as a salesperson, you've got to be professional, and you've got to respect your prospects' time. They also have to respect yours too. And if you start disrespecting their time, they've said I'm good for time until 15:30, and it gets to 15:30, and you don't have the you don't have it in you to say, hey, we're 30 minutes in. I know that we're gonna you need to get off soon. Do you need to run off, or just that acknowledgement. If you don't acknowledge that, prospects will just think this is another salesperson who only cares about themselves. So absolutely critical that you make sure that you're solid with your time management.
Absolutely. Right, let's start to get into some juicy ones now, because these are all at the start of the discovery calls. I'm conscious of time, Rich. We probably need to just pick it up a bit, mate.
Yeah, I've got a hard stop at 4 o'clock.
I was literally just about to say who's got a hard stop. So this next one's surrendering control, and this was a big lesson for me. So much so, I'm going to find it. I wrote a LinkedIn post on this. So let me just show you that post, because I think what's important with examples like this, we give clarity. Okay.
Yeah.
So let me go into this LinkedIn post.
Yeah. Surrendering control is it sounds like quite a it sounds like quite a aggressive thing. Surrendering control makes me think of people like jousting in the medieval times. I don't know why, it just does. But it's I think the one thing that I've learned in sales is that the deals that I close are the ones that I felt most controlling. The ones that I know exactly where I am, when I'm going to be speaking next with a prospect, who I'm speaking with, who needs to be involved. Whenever you have those question marks, it typically means that you lost control. And it's one of the biggest killers of deals is when you lose control, when you simply don't know where you stand in an opportunity. So this is a really important point.
So this is a LinkedIn post that I wrote some time ago, September 2018. It was how one question destroyed my demo. So to set the scene, I spoke with someone back. So September. So spoke with someone a couple of months before this post was written. They said to me, "I'm going to talk to you, but not till April 2019," which obviously was a significant amount of time later. But then 1 week after that conversation, I got this email wondering if you could arrange for you to demo your product to our manager of the UK internal sales team week after next. And then can you give me some costings as well? So something had clearly changed here. I've gone from them not wanting to speak to me for 6-7 months to actually 1 week later, can I do a demo and can I give some budget? This is the call. This is one of the scars that I have in sales. So the call itself went quite well. It was a discovery call, but showing the product as well. I'd had a bigger discovery with a decision maker. If I just take you through here. So at the start, we went through all the pain and challenges here. I was gift wrapping some of the pain. I'll play what I was saying.
Yeah, hearing a lot of frustration from yourself, Simon, and why call recording would help. Obviously, we're 3 months away from that, potentially longer. Yeah. Talk to me about what your day-to-day role is. Then you're leading this team of 12. You've got, just playing it back in my head, you've got a team of 12. They're scraping targets. Tell me if that's an unfair term, but it sounds like they're scraping the target.
I'll stop it there, but I'm telling him all his pain, all his problems. We made it personal to him.
Really needs a kick.
Sure. So in my experience, a lot of your time is best to be served with those 7 people.
Telling me about his 7 people that are under hitting target. It's all going really well. Telling some good stories, etc. But here's what happened right at the end. Right at the end, we talk about next steps. I was going to tell you what I should have done, but let me play what I actually did. So bear in mind, I'm talking to the champion, not the decision maker. The decision maker set this call up. I said this.
Simon, what's your thoughts and appetite here for next steps?
Yes, I need to go back to Darren, see kind of where we're up to with everything.
Look, I can't play it any longer. It cringes me out, right? So what happened here is that we get right to the end. We've uncovered that he basically cannot do his job unless he buys Refract. And he's telling me all these personal problems, personal gains, money that's being lost. Right at the end, when really what I should have been doing is wrapping this up in a nice little bow. I should have been telling him, feels like you're not going to be able to do your job without Refract. Here's what I suggest. You and I, we get in a room, if you remember the day of face-to-face meetings, get in a room with a decision maker who I've already spoke with. and this is a done deal. Instead, I just drop my kegs. I'm like, oh, what would you like to do next? What's your thoughts and appetite? Like, I really just surrender control. He's then like, oh, yeah, let me go and talk to someone else. And it just all falls apart. And just that one pathetic question from me destroyed my demo. So that's one of my stories there.
Yeah. And I think that's a really key point there, is that as a salesperson, you should know what is going to happen next. If you're confident and assured with the quality of discovery that you've done, you should be the one prescribing the next steps. It's like the classic case of the doctor-patient analogy. I know we've used this before. It's a little bit of like a doctor saying, okay, we've identified you've got this illness. What would you like to happen next? You know,
yeah.
Oh, I might go and get checked out. I might go and see the specialist. I might go and take this medication. Just doesn't happen. So yeah, really good example.
Let's move on. I see Darren Hall has commented. Is this the Darren Hall, my former gaffer, or is that someone else? Be good to hear from you, Darren. So the next one here, we've got need for approval. Rich, I'm going to load this clip up. I think this is a really good one that we're going to play.
Yeah.
Again, we're actually going to share what to do in this situation. I think this clip's going to be a little bit uncomfortable for people, but I'm keen to get everyone's thoughts. Conscious of time, Rich, tell us about need for approval.
Yeah, so need for approval is one of the competencies that are defined in the objective management assessment. It's one of the world leader in assessments that are done on salespeople, looking at a whole lots of different skills and competencies of how salespeople are measured. And need for approval is one of the most common competencies that salespeople suffer on, and we all have an element of need for approval. Most of us do. Need for approval essentially means that as a salesperson, you want to be liked by your prospects. And because of that, you refrain from asking them the tough questions or pushing back, the things which really help move the needle and which really count in sales. It's those questions that you kind of, we've talked a lot about some of the discovery questions we asked. Some of them are quite tough. Can I ask you a difficult question? People who ask that question would often have a low need for approval. It means that they're not afraid that prospects might get pissed off with what they're saying if they know that it's going to help to get them the information that they need. The people who have high need for approval are the ones who want to be friends with their prospects, who don't want to piss them off, who don't want to say things to offend them, and as such, they're forever just basically not uncovering real motivation to buy. So yeah, that's need for approval, and that's why this is such an important thing.
Yeah. So in this example, someone has booked a demo again with Refract. This is our colleague Stuart Taylor. I'm going to play this clip in full. It's only 2 minutes. I'll play it at slightly faster speed. But what Stu hasn't got here is a need for approval. He's not interested in being this person's friend. He's looking to help him and use his time effectively. I'm going to play it. As I say, definitely going to be uncomfortable with some people. I want to hear what people think about this.
Nice, good stuff. So really excited to be with you, Mike. Thanks for reaching out and requesting a demo of Refract. I guess we've got this scheduled for 30 minutes. Do you have a hard stop?
I do, yes. Let's try to bang through it if we can.
Yeah, I'll try and see where we get to. It really depends on the conversation and how things go, and see where we get to. But I guess a good starting point that might get straight to it is, what's the reason we're meeting today? What's the reason you're requesting the demo?
I'm just wanting to find out more about your services and see if we can plug them into Alpine Home Air. So start me from the beginning and just kind of set me through it, please.
Yeah, so in order to do that, Mike, I just want to find out a little bit about what you're hoping to achieve with it, because Refract demo would probably take 3 or 4 hours if I had to show you everything. So what are you hoping to achieve with a solution like Refract that you want to plug it into your services?
I honestly just start me from the beginning, because I don't know a ton about what your services are, so I can't narrow you down just yet.
Like I say, Mike, I don't know where to start or what to show you without finding out. Is there no kind of goal that you're hoping to achieve or what you're trying to do?
I'm sorry, I can't go into any more detail than that.
Okay, so talk me through coaching then. Refract is a coaching platform, so talk me through the coaching in the business.
I'm not sure what you're asking me.
Coaching? Do you coach the team?
Yeah, sure. We're coaching the team. Yeah.
Yeah, talk me through how you do that, Mike.
I really can't. I can't address that. I'm sorry.
Well, I can't really address much unless you're going to give me something to work with, Mike.
Well, it's not. I'm not trying to be difficult with you. I'm a consultant. Work with Alpine to help them grow their business, And I don't have a ton of the details you're asking me for, and I apologize.
Yeah, genuinely, I'm not trying to be awkward here, Mike, but unless there's something for me to show you, I don't know where to start. So, there's 101 things that Refract can do. I'm not just going to go through every one, list by list. I'd rather find out how we can help.
Okay, let's call it a day. I'll try to find out some more info, and we'll get back to you.
No worries. Cheers, Mike.
Thanks, Stuart. Bye-bye.
So the comments there, I mean, some made me laugh like, I want to peel the skin off my face.
Creasing like a pair of wet jeans.
The reality here, right, is we were all skeptical. When we listened back to this, we thought this must be a competitor trying to do some research. Most salespeople wouldn't do that. They would be worried about upsetting this person. They'd just go, okay, let's demo, let's do it all. Anyone here disagree with that? Because all the comments are, yes, it's uncomfortable. Does anyone here feel Stu did the wrong thing and he should have just demoed the entire platform? Doesn't feel like it. Okay, so that is...
Stu killed it. Stu played it beautifully. Definitely the right thing. He was spot on. I think he did the right way, maybe not right thing, maybe not in the right way. That's an interesting comment, Danny, and you might actually have a good point there. It would be great to hear more about what you mean by that. I think the reality is the reality is that I come back to what I was saying before about discovery is, if someone, the importance of discovery is to make sure you follow your sales process. This prospect is on your home turf. Do not let them dictate what they want. If you're just going to give prospects what they want all the time, you're just it's like you're giving sweets away to kids, and it's kind of like what do you stand for as a salesperson if you can't if you can't do your discovery process? In this case, I come back. What is the objective of sales? It's to be helpful. Stu is not being helpful if he just starts from the top and works his way through the product. Literally, that would take Stu, as he said, 4 hours, maybe 6 hours. That is not helpful to the prospect. We cannot be helpful, or you cannot be helpful, unless you truly understand how you can help that prospect. This is why I think Stu is absolutely right in saying, listen, I can't help you if you can't give me anything, and I'm certainly not going to be offended. I'm not afraid if that irritates you, because Stu knows what's the right thing to do to be helpful.
Yeah, just picking up on some of the comments. I started this at 1 minute 24. There was rapport about the weather that we all love to talk about, etc., etc. And yes, he did come back. He come back with loads of information. Stu actually wrote a couple of posts about this on LinkedIn that went, for us, viral. Quite a number of likes. So check that out on Stu's profile. I am so conscious of time. Okay.
We might need to choose one or two to...
Yeah, so first of all, has anyone got a hard stop at 4 o'clock that's on this webinar?
Did you hear what happened when Stu asked that question? Have you got a hard stop? Yep, bang on, 30 minutes was the prospect.
Yeah. Is there anyone in particular? So we're happy to do a little bit longer than 4 o'clock, but is there any in particular anyone here wants us to go through?
You read the comments.
Yeah.
Okay, I tell you what. Why don't we pick another one? Why there seems to be quite a bit here. How about the missing out on pain nuggets, not listening? I think we got a good example here. So this is an interesting story. This is a role play call, but for the person making the call, they want it to be as real as possible. So as part of our interview process, we do a role play call, and we want to see, do they run a discovery call like we want them to? And then we also actually want to see how coachable are they. When we get them back in for the second stage of the interview process and we talk them through their call, how do they find that experience? So I'm playing the role of the buyer here, and this is a sales rep that's trying to run a discovery call with me.
By the way, I just need to let the cat out. She's going crazy.
Okay, well, I'll take over here. So this is the first bit here. I'm playing the role of a marketing manager. Matt, I'm playing you basically, my friend.
Yeah, that's me.
So this is what I say when he asks me a question.
I mean, the sales team are closing a fair amount of business, and I'm happy with the results we're getting right now, and I think the CEO thinks we're doing okay as well. So it really was just a suggestion from him, sort of a throwaway comment that he's heard some good things about you guys, and it might be worth having a conversation.
Fair enough. Well, I'll tell you a little bit about us, about what
I mean, I couldn't have been more helpful, right? This is an interview. I'm trying to help the lad out. I say, I'm fairly happy with the sales results. I think the CEO's happy. And he just goes, fair enough. Well, I'll tell you what we do. Straight into the pitch. I mean, absolute pitulation. There's a little bit of competitor reflux here. So let me play what happens here. Just to explain, competitor reflux is where, as a sales rep, a competitor gets mentioned and we just start to spew information all over them, getting really defensive about why we're superior. So let me play this part here.
And what a lot of digital agencies do is they try to offer all those various different kinds of marketing online. So they've got multiple things that they can try to sell to you and so on and so forth. But what?
So he's just slagging off the competition. I've told him that we've worked with a couple of agencies in the past. This one here, they're happy with surface level pain. Let me show you what I say to him as a potential pain that he can expose.
Yeah, I mean, so our SEO is doing okay actually. You know, I think it's doing okay.
Our SEO's doing okay. Who the hell is happy with okay? Matt, are you happy with okay?
No, only amazing.
So let's hear what he says. When I've told him I think the SEO is doing okay.
Yeah, we do a little bit of that. Okay. In terms of how we're different, in terms of the way that we work.
I think this is a key point when we come to like active listening and pain nuggets. Is there's lots in here. There's lots of pitfalls. Is these are the key words that you will hear, that we all hear on calls, and the problem is we don't literally truly hear what is behind these words. You know, yeah, we're doing okay. Like most salespeople, they hear that and they don't think to revisit that. And one of the best ways of getting better at this is listen to these emotive words. Emotive words describe basically any sort of feeling that prospects have, good or bad. So it could be I'm quite frustrated about that, or yeah, it's going really well, or yeah, it's okay, or it's not too good. When you hear these words, I call them the emotive nuggets. It's speak these words back to the prospect. You said they're doing okay. What is it that's just okay about it? Or you said you're frustrated about that. Can you tell me more about, in particular, why you're frustrated about it? This is so key. If you can master the active listening and picking up on the pain nuggets and getting prospects to talk more, your discovery calls, I'm telling you now, will go to another level overnight. If you can just master getting prospects to open up, because if this salesperson said back to you, when you say okay, why is it just okay? What do you think he would have learned off the back of that? You know, he would have learned so much about probably all the bad stuff. Oh yeah, well we do these things well, but I'm assuming he would have heard a but there from the prospect.
Yeah, absolutely. And here's another example: is not listening. So again, listen to what I say and think with your sales cap on. What might you say here?
There is sort of more important things to me that I need to get.
Like the value for the retainer that you mentioned, and make sure that you get the right return and not making any mistakes. So.
Yeah, but I mean, I've just got other objectives as well that I need to hit. So I mean, money is it's obviously a concern. I don't want to write a blank check, etc. But for the right agency that's going to get me what I want, then the money will be unleashed.
Okay. And in terms of, I mean, I suppose this is always a difficult question because I know that you brought money up here. In terms of the budget that you...
Just straight in the budget, he wants to talk about... I've said to him that I've got other important things to achieve. He doesn't want to know what they are. I've told him that for the right agency who can get me what I want, budget's not a problem. He just wants to talk money. We're 14 minutes in and he just wants to talk money. So there's that example there. Let's do one more. Then we're going to make our special announcement. And then for anyone that wants to stick around, we will play more and other people that are going to pick this recording up as well. Rich, have you got one here?
Yeah. So the competitor reflux we touched upon. Why don't we play the example, like maybe a good example of doing it? Because I think we all get there are numerous examples in our sales lives. We get asked the question, how do you compare against X competitor? And I think naturally what we are inclined to do in those situations is we end up just talking all about and reeling off features and benefits. That's the normal reaction we have to when we get asked the question, how do you compare? And that's the problem. That's the natural go-to guy, but it's not the best way of dealing with that question of that competitor reflux. So maybe this is an example of where I was asked by one of my prospects, how do you compare against Chorus, who's a competitor of ours? Hello to anyone from Chorus on this webinar. And this is, and I'll let you play it, and then we'll analyze it afterwards.
Okay, so you are asked about a competitor, and you get defensive. That's what we're listening out for.
We're considering other competitor of yours is Chorus AI, and just be really helpful to, if you can hit on a couple of notes about the differences between you two. That would be, I think that would be most helpful, is just so I can understand what you all do differently and kind of maybe your approach and viewpoint.
Yeah, fair question. And I've touched upon this in different parts in the demo, but happy to just cover those again. So I think the key thing, I think, from the conversation that I had with Adam, and keen to see if this reflects in your needs as well, Alex, is that any product that you are looking to bring into the organization has to, first of all, help save time to how you do this today, but it has to also be a product that is geared towards coaching and improving salespeople. And I think that's where we like to differentiate ourselves from others in the market, where we're not just a call analytics product. We have functionality which is geared towards helping to improve those conversations, and that ranges.
Stop it there.
Yeah, so I think what happened then, the key part is when the prospect asked me, how do I compare, is the natural thing for me to do is saying, well, we've got this feature, we do this, we do that, we're great, we've got great customer service, blah, blah, blah. What I tried to do there was relate back to the specific needs of that customer, of what I identified. I remember speaking with Adam. He mentioned that this was really important. And I just want to say, if this is also important to you, it comes back to, when you get asked the question about how you compare, is actually flip it a little bit to relate back to why your service is relevant and best fit for their needs, because you've identified that in discovery. You're not just spewing out loads of random features. You're using their words. You mentioned this was important, and this is how we help with that, and this is why we feel we're different to the rest. And it's just another way of dealing with the how do you compare question, is make sure that you make that answer relevant to actually what is important for the prospect.
Absolutely. Okay, so my thoughts are here. We've got 6 minutes left until those that have got a hard stop have to leave. Why don't we talk about our special announcement, and then those that can stick around for just a little bit longer, we've got some other great examples. The one I'm really keen to share is isolating the champion, which is a big mistake that you can make and a lesson that you can all learn. But Rich, why don't you tee me up for this?
Yeah, hang on just a second. So this is
special announcement.
Don't know if you hear that. That's a bit of a modification on objection of the week. Rest in peace. Right, so we've got a special announcement, and I'm going to let Mark introduce this, but we're really, really excited about what's going to be getting launched over the next couple of weeks. I think this is going to be really interesting for anybody who's watching this bootcamp, and yeah, we're super excited about this. So Mark, over to you to tell us a little bit more about what we are going to be launching.
Yeah, so to start this announcement, I want to talk to everybody here about marketplaces. And I'm confident everyone that's listening to me speak right now has used a marketplace, even if you don't realize it. So examples are like the biggest marketplaces: Uber, Just Eat, Deliveroo. I bloody know them ones. Booking.com, Trivago, eBay. Marketplaces bring loads of options and put them in the palm of your hands so you can browse and find the right choice for you. You're looking for a Chinese takeaway, you don't know where to go, Just Eat will show you all the local ones and you can pick what one you want. You're looking for some clothes or bits and bobs, eBay brings it together. What's marketplaces got to do with sales? Well, there's a reason that everyone listening right now tunes into our boot camps. everyone here wants to level up and improve their profession. And coming to our boot camps, we hope has helped you with tips and tricks. But the reality is, to see results, you need to work with a sales coach, someone who works with you personally and helps you level up and improve. And until now, individual reps have had to rely on their company to provide them with training and provide coaching for them. And for the vast majority of reps, they just don't ever get that formal training. And if you're an individual and you want a sales coach, it's been impossible. Where do you find a good sales coach? Sales coaches don't want to work with you. They want to work with companies. They don't want to work with individual people. They can be expensive. They might want you to sign contracts. And we've noticed a gap in the market. And that's why over the next couple of weeks, it's almost ready. We're going to be launching the world's first and only sales coaching marketplace. On mysalescoach.com, you can find your perfect sales coach. As an individual or as a manager that looks after a team and you want to get a sales coach, what you'll be able to do is find a coach. We're bringing together some of the world's best coaches and making them available for you for as little as £20 a go. You can hire a sales coach, and what they can do is listen to one of your call recordings, one of your demo recordings, and give you feedback. So as I say, this is launching in the next couple of weeks. What you'll be able to do is to log into mysalescoach.com. You can buy credits as an individual or as a manager looking after a team, and you can access some of the world's best coaches. We've got legends like Dave Curlin on here. We've got the UK's most hated sales trainer. We've got Gilly Thompson, an expert in cold calling. Somehow, I know what you're thinking, how have Mark, Rich and Stu blagged the profile? We're on there. What you can do is buy credits, browse for your perfect coach, as I say, and you can share with them a recording, and in exchange for credits, coaches will coach you individually and they will significantly help you. If you want early access to this platform, the world's first and only sales coaching marketplace, Matt is going to pop a link in the chat. What you need to do is click on that.
Done, Mark.
It's in there already. Click
We've
on
had a
that.
couple of people register already.
And you can register and you will get early access to some of the world's best coaches, plus me, Rich and Stu.
Here's why I think this is so exciting and why this is a massive opportunity. Everybody who is coming to these boot camps, you're coming here for a reason. Because you want to get better. And fair play, you are in the minority of salespeople. Believe me when I say that. You come here religiously because you know that you want to learn something. However, there's a massive difference between coming to a boot camp, watching a video, and actually putting the stuff into practice. I mean, I relate it back to, I could sit and I could watch loads of workout videos on YouTube, but actually if I don't actually go out and put those stuff into practice, I'm never going to get in shape. And this is the key here. You can come to our boot camps, we can teach you all these best practices and skills, but if you just go back to the day job and don't put these things into practice, you don't have anybody who understands your weaknesses, your strengths, keeps you accountable, gives you that really personalized service, the chances are you're never going to develop as quick as you want to. And
Guys, I've just got to flag up. We're getting a few people who can't log on. We've literally got a couple of hundred people trying to get onto the site at the same time, and it's a brand new site. So if you're struggling to sign on, drop your email in the chat. Send it privately if you want to me and the guys, and we'll make sure that you get added. But it's a brand new site and it's just been flooded. So apologies if you've not been able to sign up.
Yes. So I think this is really exciting. I think one of the problems I see in the industry is that for the individual salespeople, there's a lot of people who want to invest in themselves. They just don't know who's right for them, who's got the right expertise, who's got the who fits their budget. They don't want to spend sign up to a 6-month long contract. They just want to buy it on demand. They want to buy help and support on demand. Say, hey, I want to buy an hour of your time to work on some of my calls. And this is where just making this easily accessible for anybody to help them get better. You get better as a salesperson. You become more successful. You make more money. This is a no-brainer.
If you are struggling, just put your email in the comments below and we will sort this out. It's been flooded. I was wondering whose Slack's going off. It's mine. It's everyone registering. So just put your email in the comments. We will collect this. We will sort this out and take care of you. But we are launching this next couple of weeks, and we are so excited. Awesome. Right. Rich, we've got some more time. We've still got a ton of people here. I feel like we should play some more examples. Let's back to this slide. So I want to do isolating the champions. I think it's a great example. Have you got another one, Rich? If I said you're going to do one more, what would you pick?
Ooh, it's funny. My hard stop has suddenly become softer. Right, let's go for isolating the champion, Mark. You said that was a good one, so let's talk about this one.
Yeah. So this is one of mine, right? In the comments, I want you to put: have you ever tried to skip the champion because you know they can't sign the order form? You're happy to talk to them, but you want to get to the decision maker. Has anyone tried to skip the decision maker, the champion? Because this is an example of where I tried to do that and it massively backfired. And I'm going to share with you this. So I had this call. I was super annoyed because when it got to the end, I was trying to sign the demo and I couldn't get it booked in. I shared the call with our CEO, and he told me there's an obvious mistake you made here. And I was thinking, well, I don't know what it is. This was a brilliant call, if I do say so myself. Tell me what the problem is. So we went through the call. Now, the first thing is, off the bat, she tells me she's not the decision maker. She tells me it's the MD, and I hear that really early.
100% over. That's not what this call's about. This call's about, is there a fit there? And the MD will ultimately care about one thing.
Wrong clip. She's already told me that in the agenda. Sorry. She tells me really early doors, I can't sign your thing. It's the MD, and that sometimes is just someone trying to put some defense barriers up. But as we go through this call, there's loads uncovered. Get some really good information. But here's the key thing, right? I'll be honest with everyone. I just didn't want to do another demo to a champion. I wanted to get straight to the decision maker. I knew that if they saw this, then this was a done deal because of everything I uncovered. And I just thought, I'm going to have to do a demo here. Then I'm going to have to wait another couple of weeks for the MD. I can just skip this out and do it together. So let me just play this part of the call.
Call on that.
Okay. Well, what I'm trying to just establish here is, well, we should book this in, really.
Yeah, okay. So is this for you and I or for me, you and him?
So that's the key bit, first of all, right? My champion, let me be very clear, she's the only one that's going to use this platform. The MD will not use this. She's asked me, is this demo for me and you or me, you and him? I had an opportunity to book it in with her there and then.
I personally would love to bring us to life for you, but it does feel like it'd be sensible to have him involved, particularly if this is right at the top of his priority list and he's interested in technology. It does feel sensible to have him involved.
Yeah, definitely.
Agree.
So there's me going, oh, it feels sensible to get him involved. Of course it's sensible. She says, yeah, definitely. But here's the bit where this completely goes wrong.
Yeah.
What about Dave? Would he get involved in this?
No, I don't think so. I don't think this is definitely.
Don't worry about Dave. He's not involved in this.
Oh, what's he like, Dave?
It's not something that Dave deals with our field sales team.
Okay.
And so we've not really got any benchmarks. We've got because they're not making the calls on the phone. It's not possible for us to. What I'd like to do, Mark, is I'd like to put an overview together based on the information that you've got on your website to Adrian in our meeting on Monday.
Right, you can hear the reverse noise there, like beep, 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 beep. I would like to put something together. I would like to share this with the MD. I'm starting to lose her now. I'm starting to lose her.
At 12:30, and then if you could give me a call back in the afternoon, and I can tell you the outcome of that, and hopefully I can be saying to you at that point he's interested in looking at the demo. How long does the demo take, by the way?
I would say we had 45 minutes. That's more than enough time.
Okay.
Oh, he sounds deflated.
Well, I know, because it's words like, and hopefully, you call me back, Mark, and hopefully.
Yeah. This is the equivalent of like a later stage send me some information. Basically, you've basically rather than just focus on her, use her as your champion. Make sure she's on board. She's now just seen you with just trying to get access to the MD, and she's put the guards up. And it's an interesting one because she seemed like she was on board with that, but it just goes to show that you were a little bit too eager there, and it probably harmed you.
Well, look, the reality is, I don't mind admitting I was wrong. I couldn't be asked to do a demo to know I've got to do another demo. But this is where I wasn't thinking, right? Because here's the situation. Imagine she said, yeah, we can do a demo of the MD. I'm going to have two people in the room that care about different things. She will want to use this platform and want to know how it works. The MD won't give a crap about how it works, how should get a report, how should build campaign. He'll want to see what's the business case. What I was trying to do, stupidly, was put a champion who's a user in on the same demo with the person who was going to sign the order form. And what was easily to imagine there is we had half an hour. She would rabbit on with all her legitimate requests and questions and desires, and he would have got frustrated and annoyed. If I'd have done the demo with her, answered all the questions that she had, showed her exactly how she could use this, that demo would have happened with the MD, and it would have been a far quicker demo. I accidentally isolated her, made her feel like I don't really want to have a demo with the MD. She might not be comfortable asking for the MD's time for something she's not seen. And look, lo and behold, never got this back on, and it was a perfect opportunity that I just set on fire and just lit it up. So there's a really big lesson there for everyone, that sometimes you cannot skip the champion, particularly if their needs are different to the decision maker. You have got to go through those hurdles. Don't know if there's anything more you'd add there, Rich. I feel like I've
only just yet another sales opportunity burned by Mark Akers. So
yeah, 3.5 years, I'm still standing. Okay, so any more? We've still got over 100 people on here.
Yeah, let's answer a question. If the MD accepts it, do you do another discovery with them? I often see people have different views or frustrations about the same problem. As a solution, we can solve it, but the wording and the articulation of the value proposition is different. This is a great question. I would say it's not a discovery conversation with the MD, personally speaking, Italo. It really depends on, I'd say, how much your product really has an influence with that contact. Like if the MD, if all he cares about is this a sensible investment, I don't really care what it does, but if it's going to help you be more successful as a sales team, then he doesn't need to go through a whole discovery process. However, if he is going to be an integral, I guess, user or in some vein of the product, it's going to influence and touch upon his role, then I'd say that that kind of discovery conversation would be valuable, and definitely in more of an enterprise sale, that's definitely more relevant. I think the key here is identify the ideal customer profile, which we talked about a few weeks back. Who's the person that is going to most value from your product? Establish the need, establish the motivation to want to solve that problem. They may not be the person who signs the contract, but if that's the case, help your contact build the business case to take to the person who signs the contract. And we can do it. That's a great example for a boot camp, is helping to build the business case, because I think a lot of salespeople don't do this, and it's a massively valuable and impactful thing that you can do. So yeah, and there's Mark made the point, is the MD in this situation, he's never going to use the Refract. He probably will never even see what it looks like. He doesn't care. What he cares about is this a sensible investment that we're making as a business? So that's really the key. Hopefully that answered your question somewhat.
I would say, Rich, we've got time for. I feel one more. Then we've done.
If you want one more, type one more in the chat, and we'll see what the audience feels. One more tune. Encore, love it.
Encore.
Right, DJ Akers, what you got for us?
So let's just have a quick look here. I feel like we've got a really good example, Rich, of where a sales rep was trying to sell to you.
Yes, this is a great one to finish on.
Do you want to have control and go through this, or are you happy for me to do that?
I'll let you. I trust you. Right, let me just set the scene. So sometimes I get sold to. I get discovery done to me, although I can claim that I have never ever been on the receiving end of what I would classify as an effective discovery call. There's something to be to take away.
It's a challenge.
So here's a. Let me set the scene there. This is a guy who was looking to sell to me. The way this conversation had been set up is, I think he'd sent me a message on LinkedIn. about some kind of new tool that uses that I can use to find more prospects on LinkedIn. It sounded relevant. We use LinkedIn as a good channel for prospecting. That's why I took the discovery call. I was interested to find out more about how it could help. And the conversation, as you can see, is a 13-minute, 49 seconds long question. As you can see on the ratios there, how much time the salesperson was talking in this discovery call versus myself. 75% of this 30-minute long conversation was the salesperson talking. I can tell you without even playing the call that, we all know how this conversation turned out when the fact that 3/4 of the conversation was the salesperson talking versus myself. Bearing in mind, a discovery conversation is about learning, about information gathering, essentially.
Yeah, you're not wrong, Rich. Just quickly on the insights. He spoke for 75%. I think what's telling right at the end, look how quiet he went, man. Like, this is where he should be tying you out. It should be the other way around. But look at this. He asked you 6 questions.
Yeah. Six questions, and some of those were, I believe, how are you today, as an example.
The weather would have been discussed, my friend. Do you want me just to play all of these through? How do you want to do this?
Yeah, so I think, what time? This is 1 minute 47 seconds. I think this guy's asked me 1 or 2 questions, but 1 minute 47 seconds, I get pitch slapped.
So I own a business called Clicks and Contact, specialise in lead generation, but using LinkedIn and data.
Don't worry about not being able to hear this. This guy is just starting to tell me about his product. So 2 minutes 41, this is a minute long. I'm continuing to be slapped with the pitch.
A bit further and say a first connection of one of our existing customers who happens to work in the same vertical as our existing customer.
A minute longer, it continues.
A second connection could be is somebody that used to work for one of your existing customers. I expect you guys are...
And we go on, and I actually give this guy a bit of help here. I drop in the word interesting. Remember we saw like emotive nuggets before? Here's an emotive nugget. I say interesting to something he said. Let's hear what happens.
Interesting. A number of them have grown up and are now business, sales directors in their own right. So the easiest way of me describing that is like...
So I say interesting. What does he do? He continues on the same motorway, slapping me with his product pitch. As you can see, 5 minutes 45, slap, slap, slap. 6 minutes 40, face well and truly slap. This is a guy who's telling me all about his wonderful product and everything it does and how brilliant it is and all the features. At this point, I actually think I went and made myself a cup of tea, and the guy actually hadn't realized I'd actually walked away from the phone. You sort of get the point, and no rocket scientist to establish where this conversation or opportunity led to. I just tuned out. I got totally bored by the whole thing. And this is the problem, is that if you treat discovery as product pitches, which we're often guilty of doing, this was the extreme, it never results in much success.
It certainly doesn't. We've still got nearly 100 people on here. I'm happy to do one more. The thing that's just thinking in my mind, these 100 people are super tuned in. They're still here. Are we connected with everyone on LinkedIn? If you are not connected with us, let's make that happen right now. Matt, share the LinkedIn. Add away. It'd be great to add you all to our networks. Stu's even there as well. Okay, so let's think. We've done this one. We've done this one. We've done this one. Done this one. That one. Missed that. Done that one. Done that one. Wasting time with useless questions. We haven't got an example for that because you can't show just one example like they're built up. We can talk about that. Same with making it feel like an interrogation. We've got an example for failing to qualify out, which is a good way of doing it. If anyone wants to hear a good way of trying to qualify out, let us know in the comments. Failing to understand how people buy. This is a good example as well. So I feel like we've got 2 more there. People seem to
let's do one more, given we are 15 minutes over the.
Yeah, sure. So I would say, okay, if you want failing to qualify out with a good way of doing it, put A. If you want failing to understand the motivations of the person who signs the order form, put B.
Right, considerably more A's.
Okay, so this is an example of where we do it the right way. So this is quite a good story, actually. So this is me, A and B, Sunny, what you like. So this is an example of where an SDR has put a meeting on for me, and I actually don't think it's a good fit. And rather than try and figure that out, I'm actually just very direct, elephant in the room. I tell them why I don't think they're a good fit. So let me play this. So we're 1 minute 47 seconds into the call, and this is what I say.
I've done my research this morning, Peter, and I'm keen not to waste your time. I'm sceptical if there's a fit here. I'm sceptical, and it might be that what we should do is a couple of minutes, share a few ideas. I'll explain what we normally do and how we work with sales trainers. And you and I, sales professionals together, can qualify you in or out and see if there's a fit. So let me explain why I believe Neil reached out to you.
So that's me telling him I don't think we're a fit, and I'm about to explain why. But Rich, why don't you tell me what you thought of what I did there?
Yeah, I think it's one of the things that salespeople are often criticized for is that they're kind of, it's all for their reasons, that they're not honest. It's all these things that sales has been kind of tarnished with for so long. And I think it's refreshing. It's kind of, you're just saying, listen, I'm not sure whether this is a good fit. It's not trying to shoehorn this guy into a place that he shouldn't be. And actually is a good way of you getting him to qualify himself back in. So yeah, I think it's a refreshing approach. If you're not sure someone's a good fit, tell them that. Let them help. Let the prospect help make that decision for you as well.
And here's the thing, right? 2 minutes into what is a 22-minute call, and I only spoke for 35% of it. Let me play for you. So I now have given him my reasons for why I don't think we're a fit. Listen to what he says back. It's quite funny, actually.
That's really funny, and I have to hold my hand up and say, I like you, and someday I will employ you, and I'm trying to tell you why. You are the first honest salesperson I've come across in a long time that I haven't trained. The reason is you're saying you don't see a fit. You're understanding why you don't see a fit. You're not in the slightest bit wrong, and you haven't tried to flog me something anyway. Here's the thing.
I'll start with that. My favourite.
Whilst Mark's head is shrinking, I think it was just a really, a very funny response, and also kind of shows you how prospects often feel about the profession of sales. And so this is a great, it's a great thing of being able to, kind of set that straight, and being sales is a great profession just when sales is done right. So I think that was it's nice to get that feedback.
I think so. My favourite part was when he said, "You're the first person who I've met that's honest in a very long time." Then it was like, I'm a sales trainer. He goes, that hasn't been trained by me.
Yeah.
That in. The bit that's interesting though, right, is we're 5 minutes in. We still speak for over 15 more minutes, and because I've tried to qualify him out, we are on par, right? He doesn't fear that I'm going to try and flog him anything, his words. He actually just really opens up to me. And what's amazing is 16 minutes later, he qualifies himself in.
Yeah, but what do you think of an additional layer of value like that?
That could be very interesting. Now, I'm not saying that would work for all my clients at the moment, but it would certainly work for. It would certainly work for. I know there's one of them that would certainly work for, if I'm honest with you.
We've now found that he's got a potential, at least one client that Refract could work for him. All of this has happened over a very natural conversation where I wasn't convinced there was a fit at the start, and it's come back in. So I think this is a good example. If you don't believe that they're a good fit, be honest with them. Tell them why. Let them tell you you're wrong.
I think a lot of salespeople are scared of saying that. This comes back to need for approval. They're scared of addressing that front on because they're afraid that when they say that, it's going to annoy their prospects, or their prospects, they're going to lose the deal. You can't lose a deal you've never won. So, yeah, great example. I think, and you've built trust, Carrie. Exactly, fantastic point. It's the key to rapport is trust building. So, great point. Right.
And on that note, I think just to recap, if you haven't registered for mysalescoach.com, if you're having some technical difficulties, the website was flooded. It's all working now. If not, pop your email below or head to the website. Matt's just popped it into the links. But this is the world's first and only coaching marketplace where you can get access to sales experts, plus me, Rich and Stu. And
if you know other people who might be interested as well, do share the link with them, because this is first come, first served. So the people who request early access will be the ones who get access early. So share it with other people. If you know colleagues or other people that might be interested, share that link with them and make sure they get access when we launch.
Fantastic.
Well, Matt, thank you very much. Thank you for not having such a hard stop. And we are look forward to hopefully seeing many of you in 2 weeks' time.
Yeah. All the best, guys. Thanks for tuning in. Cheers.
Cheers, everyone.